And welcome again to tonight's presentation on Incentivizing Innovation. Our presenter today is Alan Zack. Alan Zack is the Senior Director of Marketing and Education at XPRIZE, where he creates industry and public-facing programs that will generate awareness of and interest in the foundation. He has more than 25 years of experience managing and leading global brands, successfully developing marketing strategies for the Walt Disney Company, Mattel, Activision Blizzard, as well as several startup companies. Mr. Zack also heads up the education initiatives for XPRIZE, building STEAM-based programs with amazing partners such as FIRST, Boys and Girls Club, Google, Discovery Channel, as well as the Walt Disney Company. Outside of XPRIZE, Mr. Zack serves on the steering committee for the Boys and Girls Club, is a mentor to the Young Entrepreneurs Program, and presents at schools about careers in technology fields. Mr. Zack received a Bachelor of Science in Journalism at the University of Oregon and a Master of Business Administration from the University of Florida. And now I'm going to turn our presentation over to our expert.
Great. Thank you, Jen. Great introduction. I really appreciate that. And also thank you for listening to this portion. I am very excited to represent XPRIZE to talk to you all about how we incentivize innovation and are very proud sponsors of the Global Innovation Award, first Lego League Global Innovation Award. I'd like to spend this time just to give you a little bit of history of XPRIZE and how we incentivize innovation, talk about our education initiatives, and then talk about specifically the first Lego League Global Innovation Award. So first of all, XPRIZE is the world's leading organization creating global competitions to solve the grand challenges of our time. We feel we truly make the impossible possible. We do that through incentivizing innovation. Now, innovation in itself obviously keeps technology moving forward. It brings fresh ideas. It brings new inventions, and obviously we need it to survive. And there's many ways to bring innovation throughout history. And as I mentioned, XPRIZE finds it most advantageous to incentivize innovation. We realize that there are millions of inventors and people who have ideas in the world. But how do you get to those people? At XPRIZE, we feel by putting a dollar amount as a prize purse to say whoever can solve this problem will win the money. And by doing that, we attract all those innovators and technologists and people who have great ideas to come forward, who would not usually come forward, but they are attracted by the large dollar amounts that our foundation puts forward. Innovation, incentivized innovation has had a huge impact on the way we have technology and innovation. For example, Napoleon, with his armies, was looking for a way that he could store food that would not spoil when his armies were on the battlefield for months at a time. There was a candy maker, and he put up a prize purse to say to anybody who could develop a way to basically store food items for long periods of time so it would not get bacteria or any infection, would win this prize. A candy maker, of all people, came forth and basically created in its day the can that has now turned into the tin can that of course has become so commonplace for us all we can't imagine living our lives without such an invention. But it wasn't. But if it wasn't for an incentivized competition, we probably would never have had this innovation. Now, raise your hands if you know who this gentleman is. This is Charles Lindbergh, and he successfully flew solo from New York to Paris. What a lot of people don't realize is he flew across the Atlantic Ocean to win an incentivized competition. It was the $25,000 Raymond Ortigue Prize. But more so than the fact that he won and, of course, created innovation in itself, innovation in aviation, but he also created an interesting model. For $25,000 prize purse that was put up, 9 teams spent $400,000 competing for the prize in developing their airplanes and pushing innovation and technology forward to try to win the prize. But what it did upon successfully being awarded was it launched a multi-billion-dollar airline industry. And that truly is the innovation that puts markets forward and breaks market failures, where we can really see growth, creating jobs, and seeing how humanity benefits from the winners of these prizes. We also used a very similar model with the Ansari XPRIZE, which was actually XPRIZE's first competition. It was awarded 11 years ago. Last year was the 10th anniversary. And the idea here was to create innovation where private space travel, meaning no governments were involved, to have a privately funded team send a spacecraft to suborbit and back and do it twice in 2 weeks. Well, we had 26 teams chase the $10 million prize purse. But those 26 teams collectively on research and development in getting to suborbit spent $100 million in doing that, and truly creating innovation in this space that allowed us to get to this milestone. And it was successfully awarded in 2004 when Spaceship One, as you see here on the slide, successfully landed its second flight. But what it did upon successfully landing was it launched a multi-billion-dollar private space travel industry, which now today you know as companies like SpaceX and Sierra Nevada, and soon Virgin Galactic will be breaking into. And by breaking into the private space travel is only the tip of the iceberg. Imagine what we could do now with space exploration, now that we find ways to lower the cost, because that's ultimately the goal of this prize, was by privately funded teams going to space. That is going to open up the market for more privately funded companies to experience just that, space exploration. Now, since we were so successfully awarding and opened up markets in space travel, we have then since opened up a couple more competitions. We have the $30 million Google Lunar XPRIZE. It's the largest incentivized competition to date, and the idea here is to lower the cost of space exploration by, the first step is going to the moon. We have 18 privately funded teams building rovers, and we'll be trying to get to the moon by the end of 2016. And to win the competition, the rover has to successfully land on the moon, traverse 500 meters, and send back high-def video and photo. Now, the successful completion of this is going to make a milestone in how we look at getting to the moon and lowering the cost, much like the Ansari XPRIZE showed that getting a suborbit privately funded is a feat that could be tamed. We also have the $10 million Qualcomm Tricorder XPRIZE. And for all you Star Trek fans out there, you know what a tricorder is when Spock is waving the mobile device on somebody and quickly identifying the issues the person has. Well, we're bringing that technology to life. We like to call it science fiction becoming science reality. And we have 10 teams that that are chasing this prize, and they will be awarded in January of 2016. But basically, they have to build a device that can diagnose 15 human conditions and monitor 5 vital signs, literally putting healthcare in the palm of your hand. And then we have the Wendy Schmidt Ocean Health XPRIZE, which is a $2 million global competition to improve our understanding of ocean acidification. We realize that the waters are heating up, and it's killing marine life and plant life along with it. Now, as a species, we need the oceans to survive for many reasons. And so the fact that our oceans are becoming, at a higher rate, more acidic, and the pH level is growing, we need to combat that on a global scale. And this is just the first step of a bigger initiative to get teams to create devices that can float in the water, measure the acidity levels, and report back into more of a cloud data so we can understand in a bigger sense of what's happening to our oceans so we can actually build plans to address that. At XPRIZE, we prize breakthroughs in innovation, and I just gave you a few examples of some of our active competitions that are allowing teams from around the world, the innovators and the inventors, to come forward, bring their best idea and say, I have a way to solve that problem. Let me compete in your competitions. But at XPRIZE, we also prize breakthroughs in education. And there are several programs that we're very excited to be part of that have shown this. One of the reasons why XPRIZE is so involved with education, especially the STEM and STEAM-based programs, is that we realize these kids will go on to become teams of XPRIZes. So it's very important that we encourage kids from all around the world. And FIRST is a great example of how the kids work as a team to come forth, solve problems, and put their best foot forward in a competition. And that's why we are, obviously very, very excited to partner with them and work with them every step of the way. So we have Moonbots. Last year, we do it every year. And we're very excited to have FIRST as our partner of that. And this is a program around the Google Lunar XPRIZE. We're going to be launching Moonbots 2015 here in April. So obviously, be on the lookout for that. But it's a great program about teaching kids space, what's it like to traverse the moon, and of course working with LEGO as a valued partner of ours. It's been great, and we've had video submissions from around the world, dozens of teams that compete for great prizes. Last year, we worked with Disney, and we had the Disney Big Hero 6 XPRIZE Challenge, again with FIRST, and that was very exciting. We had 6 winners. And the whole idea was to come up with an idea that's going to change the world, and they won great prizes, and we're very excited to continue our relationship with Disney. With just a little tease here, there's a movie coming up here in May, and we're going to be launching our program around that on April 3rd. So if you'd like to know more details about that, you should follow XPRIZE with our newsletter if you go to xprize.org. To hear more details about the program and when we're going to launch, what's it going to take to win, and all the details. We can't wait to share more with you. And of course, we are the founding presenter of the Global Innovation Award, celebrating its 5 years. What a program it is, because we truly see, for those teams that are competing in the first LEGO League, and the projects they have parallel to their competition, truly remarkable ideas that are coming out of all the teams for the last 5 years. Every year we are blown away with the imagination, the innovation, and the creativity that happens. Bottom line is, the kids that compete rock, and as all do you. And we look forward to seeing all the great ideas this year, being its 5th year, that we're going to see forward in tackling education. One thing we see, as I mentioned, what these kids, most of the teams have, but they are innovative, they truly are creative, and they're team-oriented. And these are the same adjectives that we would use to describe a team that's competing in our XPRIZes that are competing for millions of dollars. And so it's natural for XPRIZE to be involved with the first LEGO League Global Innovation Award for numerous ways. But because you guys share the same beliefs in what it means to win the Global Innovation Award, very similar to what it looks like to win a XPRIZE. This is the team, the Flying Monkeys, out of Iowa. They won the very first year of the Global Innovation Award. I bring them up, one, because obviously it was their first year, but since then they have gone on to meet President Obama. They've traveled the world, and they have received a patent on their idea. So again, a great example of how innovation came from a team of an FLL team with an idea of how they can move an idea forward, and not only that, but they made their idea a reality, and now it's protected by the U.S. government that they're going to go on and just do amazing things. And we're so excited and motivated by them with their inventions and with their ideas, and more importantly, their passion to want to compete, to want to contribute with their ideas, and really move innovation forward. So let's talk about now. I know that many of you are listening to this, and you are an FLL team, and you're thinking about competing about the Global Innovation Award, but you're not so sure. My suggestion is absolutely throw it in. Why not? Compete for the Global Innovation Award presented by XPRIZE. It's a great way for you to showcase your idea, put it on a pedestal, much like the Flying Monkeys and all the teams since then, and put your innovation forward, and who knows, maybe your idea will win the Global Innovation Award in 2015 and go on and to get patented and share in the success as many teams have had. But maybe you're thinking you don't have the experience. Well, let me just give you a few examples of how other kids had the same thoughts and what they did about that. So for the experience, for the Wendy Schmidt oil cleanup, we had a team that competed for $2.25 million that weren't even in the oil cleanup business. One gentleman actually owned a tattoo parlor. And one of the guys that you're seeing on the screen here was in the tattoo parlor getting a tattoo, and he was talking about this competition and how he would like to join, but he doesn't have the know-how, but he has an idea. That's all he had. He started with the idea. The tattoo artist drew it out on a napkin and said something like this, and he's like, yeah, that's exactly what I need to build. He's like, I can help you design that. So in this process of getting a tattoo, they talked about forming a team and competing in this competition. But the point is, no one had any experience in the oil cleanup business, yet this team made it to the finals of this competition. You might be saying, well, I don't have the right education to compete for the First Lady Global Innovation Award, or my idea may not be as good as some of the competition. Well, let me tell you about a team that competed in the Progressive Automotive XPRIZE. It was a $10 million competition that really accelerated fuel-efficient vehicles. This team you're looking at was a team from an underprivileged high school in West Philadelphia. And what was exciting is the metals shop owner, teacher, he worked with the team of students, and they built 2 vehicles to compete in the competition. One was just not good enough. They had such great ideas that they needed 2 vehicles to compete. And again, this team made it all the way to the finals to compete and almost won the $5 million grand prize. But none of these guys had the education in the automobile industry to compete against some of the other teams that also had joined. Yet they made it as far as most of them. And also the passion. This is a great year talking about the classroom of the future and what education could look like. And there is passion there. And let me tell you a story about one of our team members competing for the Wendy Schmidt Ocean Health XPRIZE. As I talked about, it's the $2 million competition. This gentleman, all through college, he loved surfing, and he surfed throughout his 4 years at college. What he did, though, is he had a website, and he would go surfing, and he had a little sensor detection device on the bottom of his surfboard that would measure the temperature of the water. When he got out of the water, he would go to his website where people would follow him, and he would then display the water temperatures of that area. So people knew before they came down to the water what the ocean temperature was. He turned his passion of surfing and understanding of building a sensor device to measure ocean temperature to an instrument of measuring ocean acidification with just a few minor tweaks, and competed in our competition. The competition is actually going to be awarded in July of this year, and he is one of the finalists. So again, what a great example of how this Benjamin Thompson is his name, turned his passion for surfing and his passion for an idea and innovation and moved it forward to compete in a competition and then he could very well win. Age. Obviously, I'm talking to a group of youngsters here who are driven as an FLL team, but don't let age get in the way. And the best example of this is Jack and Draka, who competed for our Qualcomm Tricorder XPRIZE. He was 15 years old when he came up with the device to detect pancreatic cancer. At 16, he found out about our competition and formed a team and competed. And at that age, and his impact of what he's done to the healthcare community is truly remarkable. So a great example of how age has not deterred him to achieving his goals, much like how your age should not deter you from thinking about the First Lego League Global Innovation Award and what your idea and innovation can bring forward to change the landscape of education as we know it. Now is your time to change the world. As you think about competing as a team in First Lego League, and now you're maybe thinking about should I join or not, why not? Again, now is your time. If not, when? If you don't do it now, will you ever do it? So I ask you, what is stopping you from joining and competing, bringing your best innovation forward? Thank you.